everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. So today I'll be talking about my pan palette for 2020 and it's the Lorac Shine Bright Pro, and I'm just going to put a clip of it right here of what it looked like last time. This is what it looks like now. Oh my god, as you can see, I really destroyed this palette. I pulled 5 shades out of it and then got rid of 4 pans, and that's because I am no longer going to be using this as my pan palette. Long story short, I hate this palette and I just don't see a point in continuing to use it, so I pulled out the shades that I did enjoy and I put them in a palette. I'll show you later. But yeah, so as you can see, I did make significant progress in the shade Ecru because I used it every day to set my lids, and it was just really the wrong color. It was way too light, and I feel like Lorac is not made for people who are more who have more melanin. I almost said melatonin. Who have more melanin in their skin, and so it's the winter, and this is the lightest I'll be this year, which means that this is definitely not going to work later on this year. And yeah, I tried so hard with so many of these shades to make it work, and you know, I tried for a week straight. I tried like different eye looks. I would try using this blue right here. This was a metallic blue, and I'm kind of glad I destroyed it because if you can see, this is the only pan that looks like there's rust at the bottom. But yeah, so I just didn't like this. I tried using it as eyeliner on my lower lash line because some article on the internet said to do that, and I hated it like that. And yeah, so I don't even know what to say about this palette. Like, most of the looks I did with this were very light, and I just could not build up color without it becoming really patchy. So yeah, I'm not wearing this palette today. These 2 brown shades up here, I thought it was Lieutenant Brown, but it's light brown. Light brown and mahogany, they were both really patchy. So I tried using them as bronzer instead of eyeshadow, and I mean, it worked for a little bit, but then it started looking really patchy, and then my skin would look funny when layered with like my NARS Laguna bronzer, because I'd use these as like contour, and then I would go in with my Laguna bronzer. So I tried so hard with this palette. I tried for about 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, because I filmed the intro to this pretty early on, and then I decided to try my hand at this palette, and now it's like the 18th. It's really close to the day I'm supposed to be uploading the updates. I have a lot of these colors in other palettes anyway, so I'm not too sad about it. And plus, I got to save my favorite colors, which were Smoked Plum. I didn't wear it as eyeshadow. I did once and it was awful, so I used it in my brows to set them. And then I have Gold Rush, Spruce, Splendor, and Fizz. I saved those 5 shades in this palette right here. So I used this just to pluck out the eyeshadow, and I kept them. So yeah, this is Gold Rush, Splendor, Fizz, Spruce, and Smoked Plum, which as you can see has like a dent in it. There would be a bigger dent in there if I was trying to focus on that spot, but I was trying not to because I know how easily shadows break after you hit pan on them. But yeah, so as you can see, there's this stuff in my pans, and that white stuff is not mold, don't worry. It's my setting powder because I like to bake with it. It's a loose setting powder, so I bake with it, and it keeps me matte for, I want to say, at least 12 hours. But when I'm baking, I'll lean over my eyeshadow palettes like this, and then it falls from my face into the eyeshadow palettes. And I'll show you in the next palette. But I was debating doing pan those eyeshadows, but I'm really terrible at that. Like, I need to have a palette where there's like seasonal, where I can like work through it throughout seasons, instead of just pulling random eyeshadows where I don't know. Maybe I'll get like all 5 yellow eyeshadows, because I think about 10% of my collection is yellow eyeshadows, so maybe it's not that ridiculous. Maybe I won't get a yellow eyeshadow, but it's pretty likely that I will. And I don't want to work through a yellow eyeshadow at this time of the year, because it's not the season for it. That's the summertime. And yeah, so as you can see, I do like to wear eyeshadows in their season, so that makes it a little bit difficult. And I decided to just do another pan that palette, but of course my goal with this is a lot less ambitious, because it is another Too Faced palette. So when I was deciding which palette to pick, I made this matrix, and it was based off of the color story, the age of the palette, the brand, which kind of correlated with how likely the palette was to expire. And so Too Faced got a really low score for expiration, because they last supposedly forever, except my chocolate gold didn't. But I know that these can last for like around 5 years, and I'm hoping to not have this in 5 years. But yeah, so this got the highest score other than Clover, and I didn't want to put Clover back in because I worked on it last year. But I do really love that palette, and there are a lot of shades in there that aren't in here, so I'm probably going to use both of them at the same time. But this will be my main focus for the year. This is the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice Palette, and I got this in July when they re-released it for Christmas in July. And I was looking at the spicy palette, and I was like, ah, crap, I should have got that one instead. But yeah, this is what mine looks like, and as you can see, it's pretty much untouched. You see those white specks again? That is from my setting powder. I really need to learn to not lean over my palettes when I'm baking. But yeah, it's pretty new, so my goal on this is not to finish this palette. Obviously, it's a little bit hard at this point. It's like the end of February, and I would have like 10 months left to go. But I would like to hit pan on most of these shades if I can. I almost dropped it. The only shades I could really think of having trouble in this palette are probably Frostbite Me, the shade right here. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it's there's like some pink in it because of the brush I was using. I mixed colors. And the shade right here, Reindeer Paws, and it's just because it's so dark. I would only really be using it in my outer corner to like darken it up, but the rest of them I shouldn't have as many problems. I'm sure I could hit pan if I tried really hard. I have a light hand, by the way. But yeah, so the problem with this one is it's hard packed, and it's really hard to get anything out of it, and also it is not the right color. It looks really strange on me. I'm wearing it on my inner corners, but I don't think you can tell. I tried using like a really dense brush to like scrape the product out, because like nothing comes off on my fingers when I use my fingers, and it was, I don't want to say patchy, but it was chunky, so yeah, that was difficult. So I might end up using this shade as a highlighter. I've tried using Reindeer Paws in my brows, but it's not the right color. Like, you see the color that it is in here, right? And I have it on my finger. That's what it looks like in the pan, but then if I do it on the back of my hand, It's like a purple brown. So I tried it once. It did not look good in my brows, but luckily we weren't out for that long and no one said anything. So yeah, that's why I think I'll just continue to use smoked plum in my brows. I prefer to have my brows a lighter color than my hair. Yeah, this color is just not going to work, so I am pretty sure I'm going to struggle with this. I might end up using it as a liner. I don't know, we'll see, because I have a gel liner now, because my friend gave me one after I told her that I was looking for one. But the problem with that is I have so many eyeliners to go through that I might not even end up using either as eyeliner, but we'll see. Obviously, I'm going to be focusing on a couple of shades during this time of the year, which would be Looky at My Cookie. I love that shade. It is like a peach pink shade, and I made a look with that in the fall, and I was like, oh crap, I could actually use this for the spring. So I debated making this my palette for this year. First, before the Lorac palette, but after, isn't it funny how it's my Panda palette now? But I decided to make Lorac my Panda palette because it's so much older. Everything, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!